Hello, everyone. My name is Lettuce, and welcome to Lake of Voices. Now, today I am joined by Romulus, one of my many friends that I've been friends with for like several years. So, anyways, let's get this started.
Yeah, fun.
Choices. You'll need to make various decisions throughout Lake of Voices. Here are a few details to keep in mind. Certain choices are timed. Time running out isn't something to completely avoid. In some cases, not getting involved can open new possibilities. Other choices aren't timed. These options only determine whether Kaka has any special affection for another character or not. Oh, so this one pretty much seems to be romanceable as well. If you survive until the
Fun.
second night, the story will branch into one of 5 different plot lines based on your earlier decisions. The other characters cannot manage all situations in the various plot lines, regardless of what you do. If a character isn't making it, try getting the plot with a different set of survivors, or having the same group of characters venture through some other storyline. Becoming closer to someone can add and or remove future choice options and change how some scenes play out. Your decision to build that connection may not go unnoticed by the other characters. Earning the full amount of affection with certain characters can require getting into specific plot lines. And we shall page up key, which returns to previous text choice. So pretty much we could check what that is if we happen to have missed it. And the T key opens full text history. So just page up and T. We'll probably be using a lot more page up than T. And if it's like there's some text that just you can't actually read because it cuts off, we'll do T.
Okay,
Oh, shall I go or shall you?
go.
My grip on. Wait, it is a girl.
Wait,
So.
yeah, you're gonna be playing a girl.
My grip on lantern tightens as the, yeah, my grip on my lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forests in this area are relatively safe compared to Sinlow's, I can't help but feel my hair standing on end the further we get. My free hand fingers the hilt of my sword, something akin to a nervous reflex.
Have you seen it
Wait,
before?
Bemella?
I think it's Bamel.
Bemel?
Oh my god, his hair is beautiful. Wow.
So you're saying, so you're being Bemel? Okay. Bemel breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or assuaging his own. Assuaging. I hope it's the latter. I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this
The lady
cursed
with the
lake until now. What have
It's
you?
you, it's you.
I know it's
What
me. I
are
know it's me.
you talking about? That's a girl.
Yeah, she's been smoking. Bamel scratches his chin casually, as though I asked what his favorite food is.
Traveled the long way around it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves. Although, even being near it is enough.
So I'm not the only one who feels it. I sense a relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake, Sinlows, must try their best to avoid it at all their lives. The hundreds who die attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creatures lurking within, aren't a secret. No wonder you were assigned this mission. There are few who've had first-hand experience with this place. Even if from a distance, he'll probably keep being picked whenever they feel someone to cross, for however long he's with us. But Mel shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us.
At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that. And the sooner this place is behind us, the better.
It would be preferable to not risk it, but time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice. One of our allied villages, Hemar, is being harassed by brigaders. A band of ruffians. We don't have many guards to send as an assist. Only Bamel and myself. The least we can do is arrive before we are too late to be of any use. These kinds of squabbles happen often, but have to be put down, lest they turn into a blood grudge or all-out war. The last we heard, neither option was that far off.
I can also see why they chose you to come out here.
I glance at Bamel, an eyebrow raised. A slight smile plays across his lips.
You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had. Flirting.
A smile now tugs at my lips, considering how I'm actually thinking in my childhood voice. Here, let me actually fix it to my own. I would like to thank him, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I like to keep it that way.
Oh.
My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow, and he chuckles a bit before focusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this, but Mel appears to feel differently. However...
Oh, the town on the other side of the lake, though? It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area.
For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when applicable. Bamel is a talkative sort, and if chatting helps keep his worries down and his sword hand ready, I have no complaints. After a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. A slick wooden dock comes into view, and with it, the sounds of water gently lapping at its sides. Bamel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense.
Someone's already here.
A young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently, she has the same question. As we step up next to her, it's clear she isn't simply passing by. She's waiting. The stranger nods curtly to us.
Margaret.
Kick of the steadfast. Oh, that was a right click. Hold on.
Oh,
it was
hello.
page up. Yeah, Kick of the steadfast.
Mel, hello.
There's a stuffy silence. Margaret turns to gaze out across the lake, expression unclear. With not much to say, Bamel and I do the same. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across its surface, a sound like whispering. Though perhaps it actually is whispering, I concentrate, trying to place the difference, searching for breaks and rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. It doesn't matter what the noise is, whether I hear them or not. We're not alone. The Nixie are out there. A feeling that I can't quite shake tells me they've already noticed the little group of people on their shores. It feels hostile. My stomach sinks, and I instead address Bamel. Where is the guide?
Unless he's on the center island, or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's dark as pitch out there.
Panic rises inside me. Panic I try hard to quell. We can't cross without him, and we need to get going soon.
Can't cross with him either.
The woman behind us, Margaret, cuts in with something like a snort.
What? What? I know the guide will be here tonight. I have only made arrangements with him to cross.
Bamel and I share a look. The woman seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss.
I have his word he'll take me today. Would be wiser for the two of you to begin to trip around, if you're really in such a hurry, or you can make camp here and wait for him to take the trip back if you prefer.
I don't need to turn my attention to Bamel to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash. Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight. Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further. We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this. She clamps her mouth shut, then lets out a sigh.
You can do as you like.
With the matter tentatively settled, Bamel moves away. His finger begins to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans.
What's that bastard even up to?
I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better. I'm sure of that. It's not worth mentioning.
With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guy to take you across. Ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language. Do you know anything that happened with this lake? No, enough.
Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him. The guide's father is Garvin the exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless.
Oh.
But Mel rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful.
My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his, well, that.
A smile spreads across my face. Once I quickly wipe away, he really did just misspeak. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated, and Bamel abashed. Oh, here's choices. What shall we choose, Bamel?
The second one.
I'm sure you are forgiven, Bamel. You're quite informed, Margaret, or say nothing.
No, the second one.
I'm sure you are forgiven, Bamel. I know you. You are brash, but not intentionally cruel. I'm sure all is well. Bamel smiles and claps me on the back.
A good woman, Kika. Smart too. You've never been here, yet you knew more of the guide than I did.
I know about Garvin, truthfully. Tales of his deeds were some of the only stories my parents ever told.
Is that so? You could tell me more about it sometime.
I pause, unsure how to respond to this type of request.
I would like that very much.
Yes, I wouldn't mind that. It must wait until after this trip, though.
Of course, we should drop this topic sooner rather than later in any case.
I agree. Even if there's no harm meant, hearing someone mention Garvin is probably difficult for the guide, no matter what the circumstance. With the topic dropped, we each remain locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It gets closer and closer until it becomes apparent it's a feature carrying a lantern.
Man, I need a new voice. I need that new character. Come on, come get me.
That must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aura it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the waters we can get before it is no longer safe.
Oh,
He's,
hello.
he steps in front of us and simply stares. Are you the guide of Sinlos? Oh, Sinlos? The man nods. He has a sharp face and wary eyes.
Oh, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
Bemel motions to the two of us, and Margaret approaches, a strained smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross as we've arranged upon.
Agreed.
As we agreed upon.
How? I'm questioning. Where did you even see arranged in that at all?
No. Agreed upon.
Yeah. The guide turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would have had to say something otherwise. She really does have a preference to travel with him. That's a problem. Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
Yes, I will allow all 3 of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
Oh, wow.
I furrow my brow. It's a disturbing addendum, and one offered with little emotion attached. But Mel glares back, asking without asking what we're supposed to do with such circumstances. Oh, I accidentally scrolled.
You should go inside. Well, you should go around.
What did you see inside?
I just said inside.
The sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken if you want to live.
I don't have time for that. There are people counting on us for protection. Does she need to go?
He jerks a finger at Margaret, whose face contorts with anger.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
She meets Bemel's eyes with a gaze of steel. He starts to speak, and she cuts in.
An extra day or two shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is virtue, after all.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
The guide is disappointed, and it is dispassionate, stoic. I would almost feel something's wrong with him if I didn't share the trait myself. Bemel pulls me to the side, jaw clenched tight.
That woman isn't armed. But,
His voice is low. He darts a glance at Margaret.
easily get her to back off if we make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us really is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be worse fate than her death?
I stare at the dock, refusing to meet Bemel's eyes, and try to keep my voice as level as possible. We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her.
What?
Bemel leans in closer, apparently having missed what I had said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again. The guide won't accept something like that, I assume. His face is grim.
What else do you have in mind?
First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay or we both go.
Right, that's not a question.
I cross my arms, I hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and in Bemel's, but there is no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, he might not be able to give the group the attention we each deserve. That would mean we truly would be putting Margaret's life at risk on top of our own.
Choose. Say nothing?
We should go. Leave you.
We should go.
Because it was a
I
segment a week
believe
ago.
you.
Yeah, there.
Bemel's reply is firm. My steadfastness seems almost weak in comparison to its certainty. He addresses the guide.
The thing is, if I said nothing, it would probably have forced us to still go.
Mhm.
Because it's the game. It's
Yeah.
called Lake of Voices for all. So we'd have to be in the water.
Shouldn't waste more time. Let's shove off. Oh, I love his face here.
He's very,
It's handsome.
I was going to say stoic. Stoically,
Looks like Rapunzel.
not even stoic. It's pretty much that one scene in Jumanji. Actually, no, the repeated scene in the newest Jumanji, not the old ones. The old ones are good, but it's the one with the rock. Specifically, just every single time he says something and gets extremely intense, just that face.
The smolder.
Yes. The intense smolder.
It was so smolder.
The guide slowly turns around without even a nod to show his agreement. Margaret stares at Bemel and me, something of a resolve in her gaze. Then she follows after the guide. At least she didn't insist we stay behind. We should do what we can to protect her. It's our fault she's being put in even further danger.
Exactly my thoughts. We will take care of everything. Maybe I'm being naive, but I have no intentions of letting anyone fall victim to this lake tonight. Those monsters can starve.
I smile at him for a change, and Bemel eagerly smiles back.
Lucky to have each other in this, I think.
He turns to follow the others across. I will protect everyone on this trip. I will. We will make it through this.
No, you won't.
Then I step onto the dock and join them.
And we got a trophy from that. Called Begin.
As soon as I step onto the wood, the temperature drops. The light of my lamp shines against the water surface, as reflective as a mirror, until we reach land again. Death is only one small mistake away. We fall into line, with this guide leading the way. Margaret stays close to him, and I behind her, watching to make sure she doesn't slip on the slick, wet wood. Bemel brings up the rear. Each of us hold our lanterns in front of us, but it does little good. The fog is thick and nigh impenetrable, consuming the light as if hungry for it. Above the surface of the lake, it's deathly quiet. No longer is there the whispering wind nor the sound of water lapping against the shore. It's just our own mismatched footsteps and the sound of my quickened breathing. My eyes drift back to the lake against my better judgment. It's no wonder there's not even the sound of water. With how still the surface is, it seems almost sturdy with the sheen of a black marble floor. I've heard rumors the water of Sinlos is heavier, more difficult to disturb than natural water. That just the weight of its oppressive clang is enough to keep someone down, even without them. Something even darker than the abyss of the lake flickers just before the surface, or at least I think it does. I turn my gaze to Margaret's back. It's better to stay focused.
Fall back a bit. You're following me too closely.
The guide is looking over his shoulder, addressing Margaret.
Sorry.
If someone gets pulled into the lake, they'll instinctively reach for anything to hold on to. Do not let that be me.
You.
Margaret's shoulders rise, and she nods with great seriousness.
Understand. Thank you for the advice.
He ignores her gratitude.
Of him.
You can speak amongst yourselves, if you so choose, as long as you pay attention to where you're going. There is no worth in listening to the sounds out there. If there's anything at all, it'll only be Nixie trying to set you on edge.
All right, then could you tell us your name? You didn't have a chance to properly introduce yourself, and I've only heard you being referred to as the guide.
I don't have a name.
He's facing the front again, his voice as expressionless as before. I have no way of guessing how he feels as he says this. Oh. It's probably not something he wishes to talk about. However, there was something else I wanted to say, so changing the subject is not difficult. Margaret, thank you for allowing us to join you. Margaret shrugs, non-committal. There's so many repeated letters.
Non-committedly.
There's 2 M's, 2 T's, 2 L's all next to each other. It's like,
Non-committally.
Non-committedly. Okay? It's just too close. Too close for comfort. I'm not committed to those letters.
It wasn't exactly up to me. The guide said he would take you.
She hesitates, and then she looks tentatively over her shoulder at me. Well, tentatively over her shoulders at me.
Thank you for saying that. It's appreciated.
But Mel and I will do our best to be an asset on this trip, rather than a burden.
That's nice. I'm not afraid to be out here, though. Still, at least with your training, you should be able to take care of yourselves.
It's comforting to know that everyone here is so confident in their abilities, not enough to forget how terrible it feels to be over this lake. I'm not sure if that is fortunate or unfortunate. Believing yourself to be secure doesn't mean that you are. As the conversation lulls, a new sound breaks through. It's the whispering noise again. It's the chatter of inhuman voices, and this time coming from all around us.
Taking care of yourself is exactly what you need to do.
The guide is speaking again, except louder, as if to cover the Nixie's voice with his own.
Work to survive at all costs, and hope that everyone around you has enough sense to do the same. That's the only way you'll make it to the other side.
Margaret nods in response, but I hear a grunt from behind me.
Groups tend to go further when they work together to achieve the same goal.
The guy doesn't say anything in response to Bemel's grumbling either. It's not sure whether he didn't hear Bemel or whether he just didn't feel the statements made thus far are worthy of addressing. I have a feeling it's the latter. We go around a large bend in the bridge, part of it forking off to another way. I wonder how the guide knows which of these essentially identical paths is correct when something in the corner of my eye catches my attention. I believe I saw something over there.
Keep walking. No need to worry.
The guide's voice is calm and level. I decide against pressing the issue, not wanting to set everyone even more on edge.
What did he say?
Perhaps not wanting the conversation to be caught by the guide, he speaks softly, though I couldn't quite hear him because of it.
Oh. Yep.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, definitely.
I take my eyes off Margaret head for a moment to explain it to Bemel and stop dead in my tracks. Only one word is able to escape me in my stunned state.
Will this be one of the button pressing moments? This is no doubt a button pressing moment, because it says only one word is able to escape me in my stunned state. So it's like definitely timed. So are you prepared for a choice?
Yes.
So shall we basically, in thought, choose run or stay silent about that specific thing?
Silent.
Stay silent?
Yeah.
Never mind, we don't choose.
Behind Bemel stands another figure, looming in the darkness. Seeing my face, Bemel grabs the hilt of his sword. He whips around, then staggers swiftly backwards. Several meters away, a crooked, twisted black figure hobbles its way towards us. Some kind of liquid drips off its head, curling around the edges of its face. Almost looks like it's crying. Bamel backs up until he's standing beside me. The figure continues to its slow advance, head jerking from one angle to another. What on earth?
What on earth?
Yeah.
What on earth?
It's one of them.
Yes, Nixie that stumble across the bridges, looking for opportunities.
The guide is standing next to us. I didn't even notice him approach.
The ones that can make it out of the water aren't generally referred to as prowlers.
I had no idea things like that were out here. Is that what Kika saw down the other path?
The guide says nothing, instead returning to the front of the party. Margaret watches him pass. Her frustration morphs into nervous optimism when something seems to come into her mind.
Nixie aren't slowed down much by swords, but at least light keeps them away, right?
Margaret's hand grips her face tight, and desperation bleeds into her voice. I bite the inside of my lip.
Drag light will force it to return to the lake. However, it'll try to drag the light, or you, down with it before it goes.
Instinctively, I reach for the hilt of my sword. Despite the fact that it would do little to protect me, the prowler is getting closer, jerking forward, stopping, then resuming its slow advance.
So now we're going to do something about it, probably.
I'm scared.
So,
Oh no.
should we let Bamel take care of this, I assume? Or we take care of this, or do nothing? So, what?
Have someone die.
Have someone die?
Yeah.
Or do that.
Okay, does anyone have a light? We can leave here, that way it won't follow us.
We're just prepared to kill any of them off. It's not
I'm
happening.
ready to kill Margaret.
Oh, and it's closer.
Only matches.
Yeah, you see it's
Look at
closer.
his face.
I,
He seems so intense.
yeah, I see his face, but I'm more focused on the fact that before you could see the entire head and almost the entire body of that prowler. Now it's like being covered.
This is great.
It's moving quicker than they are.
It's super slow.
Yeah.
Bamel spits. He's the one bringing up the rear, so he's the one most likely to be in danger if it keeps following. The guide, however, moves forward.
Don't forget it's there. Don't let your guard down, and don't get left behind.
How am I supposed to keep walking with this thing at my heels? You said it wants to attack.
Don't give it the chance.
Bamel sputters in anger, and the guide summarily ignores him. I solidly grab hold of Bamel's upper arm.
Didn't they literally just say earlier, don't grab anyone?
Legit, they did.
Yeah.
Here, I'll lead you like this,
I'm gonna die.
and you can keep your focus solely on the prowler. Make sure it doesn't get too close. Bamel eyes the guide with unresolved hostility, but allows himself to softly sigh in relief. He gazes at me with fondness.
At least this is someone I can count on. Wink wonk.
Despite the fact I'm going against his advice, the guide says nothing more. It's clear now that he doesn't give a damn what we end up doing. Some part of me is glad for that.
See, look, they're even mentioning that they're going against his advice. How he had said earlier, don't hold anything. Don't hold anyone. Stay to yourselves.
Well, these are the main characters. They're obviously going to be dumb.
Yeah, but all four of these are the main characters.
Well, those two are dumb.
I want to help everyone make it through, and it would be worse to have to persuade the guide every time help was necessary.
Okay. Thank you.
Bamel places a gentle hand on my shoulder.
His hand over his.
I had a feeling you were going that way.
So I place my hand over his. I feel Bamel start as I reciprocate his touch, but just as quickly, a smile replaces his shock.
Wait, didn't that monster get closer? I feel like it got closer.
I was mentioning this earlier. It hasn't moved though.
The moment is pleasant, a small balm against a large burn. I harden my expression, and Bemel follows suit. He moves his free arm down. I fully link his arm with mine, and now properly settled looking forward.
Yeah,
Let's touch each other.
I clicked on it. It took so long to go to the next one.
Margaret is following the guide with some reluctance, turning back every so often to check on us. I wave my lantern to signal we're catching up. Margaret returns her head to the front and quickens her pace. With a tug on Bemel, we start to follow them.
You're so dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys do enjoy. My name has been Lettuce. I have been joined by Rom, and this has been like Voices. Now tell us what you thought of our decisions, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Please do whatever you want. Check whatever videos out. Check out some of these friends. If I do find Rom's channel at the end of this video, I'll post it down in the description down below. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you do enjoy.